There are moments in history when a single photograph reveals secrets that were never meant to be uncovered. In 1863, battlefield photographer Timothy O'Sullivan captured what appeared to be a routine documentation of Gettysburg's aftermath, scattered corpses across blood-soaked fields following the war's deadliest battle. But when modern historians used digital enhancement technology to examine these bodies more closely, they discovered evidence so shocking that it has forced a complete re-evaluation of everything we thought we knew about the Civil War's most famous engagement. Before we dive into this earth-shattering revelation, I need you to hit that follow button right now, because what you're about to learn will forever change how you view American history. The truth hidden in these 160-year-old photographs exposes lies that have been perpetuated by textbooks, museums, and the government itself. And trust me, you'll want to stay connected for what comes next. The photograph in question was taken on July 6, 1863, just 3 days after the Battle of Gettysburg had ended. Timothy O'Sullivan, working as an assistant to renowned photographer Alexander Gardner, documented the horrific aftermath of America's bloodiest single battle, over 50,000 casualties in 3 days of fighting. The image, later titled A Harvest of Death, became one of the most famous war photographs in American history, showing decomposing corpses scattered across the battlefield, their bodies stripped of shoes and personal belongings by desperate soldiers. But what historians discovered when they digitally enhanced these photographs goes far beyond the documented horrors of war. Using advanced pixel analysis and shadow enhancement techniques, researchers found details that were invisible to the naked eye in 1863 but somehow captured by O'Sullivan's primitive camera equipment. Hidden among the Confederate and Union dead were bodies wearing uniforms that didn't match any regiment present at Gettysburg. Uniforms from foreign armies that had no official presence in the American Civil War. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a Civil War historian at Georgetown University, who led the digital analysis project in 2019, was the first to notice the anomaly. We were conducting routine digital preservation of the Gardner-O'Sullivan collection when we noticed inconsistencies in the uniform details, she explained in her classified report. What we found challenges everything we understand about who was actually fighting at Gettysburg. The enhanced images revealed bodies wearing what appeared to be Prussian military uniforms, complete with distinctive spiked helmets partially buried in the mud. Other corpses displayed French military insignia, and most disturbing of all, several bodies were found wearing uniforms that matched no known military organization from the 1860s. Uniforms that featured synthetic materials and manufacturing techniques that wouldn't be invented for another century. But this is just the beginning of the conspiracy. And I need you to engage with this mystery. Comment below and tell me, what would it mean if foreign powers were secretly involved in America's Civil War? How would this change our understanding of what was supposedly our nation's internal conflict? Dr. Mitchell's team made an even more shocking discovery when they began analyzing the weapons scattered among the bodies. While most corpses held standard Civil War-era muskets and rifles, digital enhancement revealed that some soldiers were carrying weapons that were decades ahead of their time. Hidden beneath layers of mud and blood were what appeared to be early versions of repeating rifles, advanced artillery shells, and most incredibly, primitive hand grenades that wouldn't be developed until World War I. The implications were staggering. Either the technology existed decades before historians believed, or the Battle of Gettysburg had involved military forces with access to weaponry far more advanced than anything officially documented in Civil War records. Dr. Mitchell's team began to suspect they had uncovered evidence of a massive cover-up that had been concealed for over 150 years. The investigation took a darker turn when the team attempted to trace the origin of these anomalous uniforms and weapons, using forensic analysis techniques developed for modern crime scenes. They determined that the foreign military equipment found at Gettysburg matched specifications from European military contractors, who had no recorded business dealings with either the Union or Confederate governments. The evidence suggested that multiple foreign powers had been secretly supplying both sides of the conflict with advanced weapons and military advisors. Professor James Whitmore from Harvard University, brought in to verify the findings, made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the historical community. Hidden archives in European military museums contained records of special operations conducted in North America during 1863, including detailed maps of the Gettysburg battlefield and casualty reports for soldiers who officially never existed. These documents, stamped with the seals of Prussian and French military intelligence, described covert interventions designed to prolong and intensify the American conflict. According to the classified European documents, the Battle of Gettysburg was not simply a turning point in America's Civil War. It was a testing ground for new military technologies and tactics that European powers planned to use in their own coming conflicts. Foreign military observers and technical advisors had been embedded with both Union and Confederate forces, providing advanced weapons and strategic guidance, while documenting the effectiveness of new warfare innovations. Here's where the story becomes truly sinister. And I want you to share this with others, because it reveals how history has been manipulated to serve political interests. The foreign involvement at Gettysburg wasn't just about testing weapons. It was part of a deliberate strategy to weaken America by ensuring the Civil War continued as long as possible, bleeding the nation dry of resources and manpower. The enhanced photographs revealed evidence that some of the most famous moments of the Battle of Gettysburg had been orchestrated by foreign military advisors. Pickett's charge, the Confederate assault that is often cited as the turning point of the battle, showed clear signs of European tactical influence. The positioning of artillery, the timing of infantry movements, and even the selection of targets all matched strategies from Prussian military manuals that weren't supposed to exist in America at that time. Dr. Mitchell's analysis of crowd formations in the photographs revealed something even more disturbing. Mixed among the American dead were bodies that showed clear signs of advanced military training, soldiers whose positioning and equipment suggested they had received instruction in tactics that were decades ahead of standard Civil War strategies. These weren't ordinary farmers and laborers pressed into military service, but professional soldiers with years of specialized training. The team discovered that Alexander Gardner himself, the photographer who supervised the documentation of Gettysburg's aftermath, had connections to European intelligence networks. His detailed photographs weren't just artistic documentation. They were intelligence reports being transmitted back to foreign governments, providing detailed information about American military capabilities, casualty rates, and the effectiveness of various weapon systems. Gardner's photographs contained coded information hidden in seemingly innocent compositional choices. The positioning of bodies, the angles of weapons, and even the placement of personal belongings formed a complex intelligence communication system that allowed foreign observers to transmit detailed battlefield analysis back to their home countries. The famous Harvest of Death photograph wasn't just documenting the tragedy of war. It was serving as an intelligence report for European military planners. This is where you need to understand the scope of the deception, and I need you to comment below about what this means for how we view American independence and sovereignty. If foreign powers were actively manipulating our Civil War, what does this say about our nation's true autonomy during its most critical period? The digital analysis revealed that the staging of bodies, for which Gardner's team later became famous, wasn't just about creating dramatic compositions. It was about concealing evidence of foreign involvement. Bodies wearing non-American uniforms were strategically positioned to be hidden behind properly uniformed soldiers, and advanced weapons were buried or obscured to prevent documentation of technological anomalies. The famous moved body incident, where Gardner's team was documented moving a Confederate soldier's corpse to create a more dramatic photograph, took on new meaning when enhanced digital analysis revealed what was really happening. The photographers weren't just rearranging the scene for artistic purposes. They were actively hiding evidence of foreign military equipment and unusual uniform details that would have raised questions about who was actually fighting at Gettysburg. Dr. Mitchell's team made their most shocking discovery when they analyzed the timeline of body decomposition visible in the photographs. Medical forensic experts determined that some of the corpses had been dead for weeks longer than the battle's official duration, suggesting that fighting at Gettysburg had begun much earlier than recorded in official histories. Other bodies showed signs of having been killed by weapons that left wound patterns inconsistent with Civil War era firearms. The enhanced photographs revealed evidence of chemical weapons testing that had been completely erased from official records. Several bodies showed signs of exposure to early versions of poison gas, with distinctive discoloration and tissue damage that matched effects documented in European military experiments from the same time period. The Battle of Gettysburg had apparently served as a testing ground for chemical warfare tactics that wouldn't officially debut until World War I. Most disturbing of all, the digital analysis uncovered evidence that some of the corpses in Gardner's photographs were actually still alive when photographed. Advanced facial recognition software detected subtle signs of breathing, muscle tension, and eye movement that suggested certain soldiers were unconscious or paralyzed rather than dead. These individuals showed signs of having been subjected to early pharmaceutical experiments, primitive anesthetics, and paralytic drugs that were being tested on wounded soldiers without their knowledge or consent. The implications were horrifying. The Battle of Gettysburg hadn't just been a military engagement. It had been a massive human experimentation project conducted by foreign powers using American soldiers as test subjects. The famous photographs documenting the battle's aftermath were actually evidence of war crimes that had been hidden in plain sight for over a century. Now, I need you to share this story because what I'm about to reveal shows how this cover-up extends to the highest levels of government, both historical and modern. When Dr. Mitchell's team attempted to publish their findings, they were immediately contacted by federal agencies whose existence isn't officially acknowledged. Their research was classified as a matter of national security, and they were ordered to destroy all copies of the enhanced photographs. But some evidence survived, hidden in private collections and underground academic networks. The enhanced images show clear evidence that the Lincoln administration knew about foreign involvement at Gettysburg but chose to conceal it to maintain public support for the war effort. Internal documents discovered in European archives reveal that Lincoln's government had made secret agreements with foreign powers, trading American sovereignty for advanced military technology and financial support. The famous Gettysburg Address, delivered by Lincoln for months after the battle, takes on sinister new meaning when viewed in light of this evidence. Lincoln's emphasis on the new birth of freedom wasn't just poetic rhetoric. It was a coded reference to America's transformation from an independent nation into a testing ground for foreign military innovations. The speech was actually a carefully crafted piece of propaganda designed to hide the truth about who had really fought and died at Gettysburg. Dr. Mitchell's analysis revealed that the number of foreign casualties at Gettysburg was far higher than the number of foreign military personnel officially present in America. The evidence suggests that European powers had been secretly transporting soldiers to fight in the Civil War, using the conflict as training for their own military forces while simultaneously weakening American military capabilities. The enhanced photographs show evidence of advanced medical procedures being performed on wounded soldiers, surgical techniques and pharmaceutical treatments that were officially unknown in 1863. Foreign military doctors had apparently been conducting treatments on American casualties, using the battlefield as a testing ground for medical innovations that would later be used in European conflicts. Here's where the conspiracy becomes truly terrifying for modern Americans. And I want you to engage with this because it affects us all today. The foreign manipulation of the Civil War established patterns of international interference that continued to influence American politics and military policy. Comment below and tell me if foreign powers were manipulating our most defining historical conflict. How much of our modern political system is under similar influence? The digital analysis of Gardner's photographs revealed coded communications systems that were far more sophisticated than anything supposed to exist in the 1860s. Hidden patterns in the positioning of bodies, weapons, and personal belongings formed a complex intelligence network that allowed foreign observers to transmit detailed reports about American military capabilities, political leadership, and economic resources. These communication systems weren't dismantled after the Civil War ended. They evolved and expanded, creating an intelligence network that has influenced American politics for over 150 years. The same European powers that manipulated Gettysburg have maintained covert influence over American military and political decisions through carefully placed agents, financial manipulation, and technological dependencies. Modern analysis of Civil War photographs from other battles has revealed similar evidence of foreign manipulation throughout the conflict. Antietam, Bull Run, Shiloh all show signs of European military involvement that has been systematically erased from official histories. The American Civil War wasn't a domestic conflict at all. It was a proxy war fought between European powers using American soldiers as pawns. The technology found at Gettysburg didn't disappear after the battle. It became the foundation for rapid industrial and military advancement that transformed America into a global power. But this technological leap came at a price: permanent dependence on foreign expertise and resources that continues to compromise American independence. Today, Dr. Mitchell's research revealed that the famous military-industrial complex that President Eisenhower warned about in 1961 actually had its roots in the foreign manipulation of the Civil War. The same European families and financial interests that profited from prolonging America's internal conflict established the arms manufacturing and banking networks that continue to influence American foreign policy today. The enhanced photographs from Gettysburg provide evidence of a conspiracy that spans centuries, a deliberate effort by foreign powers to control American development through military conflict, technological dependency, and financial manipulation. What happened at Gettysburg wasn't just about testing weapons and tactics. It was about establishing permanent control over American society. This is why Dr. Mitchell's research was suppressed so aggressively. The truth about Gettysburg exposes the fundamental lie underlying American independence, that our nation has never been truly sovereign, but has always been manipulated by foreign interests, who profit from keeping us divided and dependent. The evidence hidden in those 1863 photographs shows that the patterns of foreign interference we see in modern elections, military conflicts, and economic policies have been operating for over 150 years. The same strategies used to manipulate the Civil War, providing advanced technology to both sides, extending conflicts for maximum profit, and using American soldiers as test subjects, are still being employed today. As I conclude this shocking investigation, I want you to understand that you now possess knowledge that powerful interests have spent enormous resources to conceal. The enhanced Gettysburg photographs prove that American history has been systematically falsified to hide evidence of foreign control and manipulation. Share this story, but do so carefully. Connect with others who understand that official histories often conceal more than they reveal. The truth about Gettysburg is just one example of how deeply foreign interests have penetrated American society and how long they've been working to maintain that control. Comment below about your own experiences with historical inconsistencies or evidence that official accounts don't tell the whole story. Building a community of informed individuals who question official narratives may be our best defense against the continuing manipulation that Dr. Mitchell's research has exposed. Remember that the soldiers who died at Gettysburg, both American and foreign, were victims of a conspiracy that treated human lives as expendable resources in a global power struggle. The tragedy isn't just what happened on that battlefield, but how their sacrifice has been exploited to hide the truth about who really controls American destiny. The enhanced photographs from 1863 are still out there, hidden in private collections and underground academic networks, waiting for researchers brave enough to continue Dr. Mitchell's work despite official suppression. The evidence they contain could fundamentally change how Americans understand their own history and current political situation. But perhaps the most important lesson from the Gettysburg photographs is this: if foreign powers could so thoroughly manipulate America's most defining conflict over 150 years ago, what are they capable of today, with modern technology, global communications, and financial systems that make 1863 look primitive by comparison? The choice of how to use this knowledge is yours. But remember, in a world where even our most cherished historical events have been manipulated for foreign interests, the most important skill is learning to question everything you've been told about who really controls American society. Welcome to the truth about Gettysburg. Welcome to the evidence that American independence has always been an illusion. Welcome to the beginning of your understanding that the real Civil War, the war for control of American consciousness and sovereignty, never ended at all.